Welcome to Truth Report, the show that peels back the layers of power and exposes the real forces shaping our world. I'm Alex Truth.
And I'm Maya Clarity. Tonight, we delve into the hidden currents of global energy, from high-stakes diplomatic negotiations that dictate the flow of oil, to the quiet breakthroughs in laboratories that could redefine our future, or be hoarded for corporate gain.
We're talking about the intricate dance between geopolitics and groundbreaking science, a dance often choreographed by unseen hands. We'll expose how these seemingly disparate events are all interconnected, forming a complex web of control over the very energy that fuels our lives.
From the potential easing of sanctions on a major oil producer, to the microscopic engineering of next-generation batteries and the elusive promise of fusion power, every development has profound implications for global stability, economic power, and our planet's future.
Tonight, we connect the dots, reveal the patterns, and ask the uncomfortable questions about who truly benefits and who is left behind in the relentless pursuit of energy dominance. Let's get started. Our top story tonight takes us to Geneva, Switzerland, where high-stakes diplomatic maneuvers are once again unfolding. According to an Al Jazeera report, a second round of nuclear talks between the United States and Iran has officially begun.
These aren't just talks about nuclear centrifuges, Alex. As Al Jazeera's Osama bin Javaid explains, these are negotiations laden with geopolitical weight, directly impacting global energy markets and regional stability. It's a delicate balancing act that has global ramifications far beyond the negotiating room.
Indeed, Maya. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, has been in tatters since the U.S. withdrawal in 2018. Now, both sides are back at the table, ostensibly to revive the deal. But let's be clear, this isn't simply about non-proliferation. It's about leverage, sanctions relief, and the potential re-entry of Iranian oil into a hungry global market.
Precisely. Iran holds the world's fourth largest proven crude oil reserves and the second largest natural gas reserves. Sanctions have severely curtailed its ability to export these resources, leading to significant economic strain but also tightening global supply. Any shift here reverberates across economies.
And that's where the deeper game comes into play. The U.S., while publicly championing non-proliferation, is also acutely aware of the leverage its sanctions provide. These talks aren't just about preventing a nuclear weapon, they're about maintaining economic pressure and shaping geopolitical alliances in a volatile region.
For Iran, the stakes are equally high. Relief from sanctions could inject billions into its struggling economy, allowing for modernization and greater regional influence. However, trust is virtually non-existent, and the domestic political factions within Iran hold differing views on engagement with the West.
So, who truly benefits if a deal is struck? The U.S. gains a perceived diplomatic victory and a potential cooling of tensions, while also perhaps influencing global oil prices. Iran gains economic breathing room and a degree of international legitimacy. But the benefits are hardly equally distributed.
Regionally, Saudi Arabia and Israel view any rapprochement with Iran with deep suspicion, fearing an emboldened adversary. They stand to lose geopolitical influence if Iran's economic power grows unchecked. The stability promised by a deal is often perceived as instability by others.
And the ultimate beneficiaries? Large international corporations, particularly energy companies, who stand ready to re-enter the Iranian market if sanctions are lifted. Billions in potential contracts for oil and gas infrastructure, technology, and services are waiting in the wings. This isn't altruism, it's opportunity.
It's a classic example of how diplomacy, ostensibly about security, is inextricably linked to economic power and resource control. The global energy landscape is reshaped with every handshake and every concession, far from the public eye.
The power structures here are stark, a global superpower asserting its economic might through sanctions, and a resource-rich nation trying to navigate a path to economic recovery while safeguarding its sovereignty. The ordinary Iranian citizen, however, remains caught in the crossfire of this high-stakes geopolitical game. Shifting gears from geopolitics to groundbreaking science, we turn our attention to the Brookhaven Linac isotope producer, or BLIP, facility. New research, detailed on AR-14, is characterizing fast secondary neutrons created at BLIP following proton irradiation.
This might sound like abstract physics, Alex, but it has profound implications for medicine and nuclear safety. The study, characterizing secondary neutrons at BLIP for isotope production applications, uses foil activation and Fluka Monte Carlo simulations, comparing them with the International Reactor Dosimetry and Fusion File.
For our viewers, BLIP is a crucial facility that produces vital medical isotopes used in diagnostics and cancer treatment. Understanding these secondary neutrons is paramount for ensuring the safety of personnel, optimizing the facility's operations, and potentially developing new applications.
Think of it this way, when protons hit a target to create isotopes, they also generate a shower of these secondary neutrons. Precisely measuring their energy and distribution allows scientists to design better shielding, improve production yields, and explore entirely new ways to utilize these subatomic particles.
The implications here extend beyond medical isotopes. This fundamental research into neutron behavior is critical for the entire nuclear energy sector. Improved understanding of neutron interactions can lead to safer, more efficient nuclear reactors, better waste management strategies, and potentially even advancements in fusion research.
Absolutely. The rigor of this research, combining experimental measurements with sophisticated simulations, pushes the boundaries of nuclear physics. It's about perfecting our control and understanding of the atomic forces that power medical technology and could someday power our grids.
So, who benefits? Primarily the medical community and, by extension, patients globally. Safer, more reliable production of medical isotopes means better access to life-saving diagnostics and treatments for diseases like cancer. This is a clear win for public health.
The nuclear industry also stands to gain immensely. Any research that enhances safety protocols, refines operational efficiencies, or provides data for next-generation reactor designs directly benefits a sector that is increasingly seen as vital for a carbon-free future.
But let's look deeper. Brookhaven is a U.S. Department of Energy national laboratory. This research is federally funded. While the stated goal is public good, the knowledge gained from such advanced studies also strengthens national security and technological leadership in a highly strategic domain.
This research represents a cornerstone of national scientific infrastructure. The control of this advanced nuclear knowledge, from medical applications to potential energy breakthroughs, rests heavily within government-funded institutions, shaping the future of both defense and energy, far from the reach of typical market forces.
It's a prime example of how foundational science, often overlooked by the mainstream, forms the bedrock for critical technologies that impact millions. Yet, who decides the research priorities, and who ultimately benefits from the applications of this knowledge, remains a question of power and national interest.
From the atom's core, we move to its surface, where a revolutionary material is being explored for its protective properties. New research emerging from AR-14 investigates the effect of graphene orientation on permeability and corrosion initiation under composite coatings.
Graphene, the so-called wonder material, is the focus here. The abstract notes its unique anisotropic properties, particularly its impermeability, making it a promising candidate for advanced corrosion prevention. This isn't just academic, it has massive industrial implications.
Indeed, corrosion is an insidious enemy, costing industries billions annually in maintenance, repairs, and replacement of infrastructure. We're talking pipelines, bridges, ships, offshore drilling platforms, and critical components in power plants, all vital to our energy and economic backbone.
The research highlights a crucial gap. Despite extensive experimental work on graphene in anti-corrosion coatings, there's been a lack of numerical modeling on how graphene sheet orientation affects corrosion. This study aims to fill that void, optimizing how we use this material.
This is critical. Understanding the optimal orientation means maximizing graphene's impermeability, creating a superior barrier against corrosive elements. It's about moving from trial and error to precise, engineered solutions for protecting valuable assets.
Imagine the implications, Maya. Longer lifespans for critical energy infrastructure, reduced material waste, and significantly lower operational costs for industries like oil and gas, transportation, and utilities. The economic impact could be staggering.
So, who benefits most directly? The industries that bear the brunt of corrosion damage. Oil and gas companies, for example, could see substantial savings on pipeline maintenance and extend the life of their assets, directly impacting their bottom line.
This research could also spawn a new wave of materials science companies specializing in advanced graphene-based coatings. The innovators who develop and patent these optimal applications stand to gain immense market share in a multi-billion-dollar industry.
However, it also means that the cost savings and efficiencies gained by these large corporations may not necessarily trickle down to the consumer or translate into lower energy prices. The benefits could easily be internalized as increased profits, further concentrating wealth.
This technology, once fully developed and patented, becomes a powerful tool. The companies that control these intellectual property rights will have a significant advantage, potentially dictating terms for vital infrastructure projects and shaping industrial standards for decades to come.
It's a clear example of how fundamental materials science research, even when it appears technical and niche, forms a critical pillar for maintaining existing energy systems and enhancing future infrastructure resilience, all while driving enormous economic value for those who control its application.
Now, let's pivot to the future of energy storage, a critical component of our clean energy transition. New research, again from AR14, discusses an intriguing phenomenon in silicon-containing lithium-ion batteries, capacity gain early in their life.
This is a significant challenge for battery developers. The paper, Capacity Gain in Li-ion Cells with Silicon-Containing Electrodes, notes that this anomalous capacity increase makes forecasting future cell behavior difficult, even under conditions where known mechanisms are unlikely to be significant.
Silicon anodes are the holy grail for next-generation lithium-ion batteries. They promise dramatically higher energy density compared to traditional graphite, meaning smaller, lighter batteries that can store much more power. This is crucial for electric vehicles and grid-scale storage.
But this capacity gain anomaly is a hurdle. If you can't accurately predict a battery's performance or lifespan, it undermines trust and slows adoption. This research combines simulations and experiments to analyze 4 cases that can produce this increased capacity in silicon cells.
Understanding and mitigating this unpredictable behavior is vital. Battery manufacturers need consistent, reliable performance data to guarantee their products. This scientific sleuthing is about unlocking the full, stable potential of silicon anode batteries.
The researchers are dissecting this mystery, pushing the frontiers of battery science. Their work aims to ensure that the promise of silicon, longer-range EVs, more robust grid storage for renewables, can be delivered reliably and safely to market.
So, who stands to gain from this research? First and foremost, battery manufacturers and the entire electric vehicle industry. Solving this capacity gain puzzle means more competitive, higher-performing EVs that can truly challenge fossil fuel vehicles.
And beyond EVs, the renewable energy sector will benefit immensely. More reliable and higher capacity grid storage is essential for integrating intermittent solar and wind power, enabling a stable, fossil-free electricity supply. This is a direct accelerant for the energy transition.
However, the global competition for battery technology leadership is fierce, with China, the US, and Korea all vying for dominance. The companies that first master silicon anode technology and control the intellectual property will hold enormous sway over the future of energy.
This research isn't just about scientific curiosity, it's about national economic competitiveness and strategic control over critical energy infrastructure. The insights gained here will determine who holds the key patents and manufacturing capabilities for the indispensable energy storage solutions of tomorrow.
The implications are clear. While the science promises a greener future, the race to control its commercialization is a high-stakes battle among nations and corporations, where intellectual property and manufacturing dominance translate directly into global power. Finally, we turn our gaze to the ultimate energy quest, fusion. Another AR14 preprint takes us into the complex world of plasma physics, investigating leveling of MHD turbulence imbalance in shear flows.
This is highly technical, but incredibly important. The research explores magnetohydrodynamic, or MHD, turbulence in plane shear flows with a streamwise background magnetic field, specifically in the superalfvenic regime. It sounds like science fiction, but it's foundational to clean energy.
At its core, this study reveals that large-scale velocity shear suppresses turbulence imbalance, driving the system toward a more balanced state. This means the energies of counterpropagating alphane waves become essentially equal, even if they started perfectly imbalanced. This balancing is due to shear-induced interactions.
Why does this matter? Because controlling turbulence is one of the biggest challenges in achieving stable, sustained fusion reactions. Fusion reactors, like tokamaks, heat plasma to extreme temperatures, creating a turbulent environment that resists confinement.
If we can better understand and control MHD turbulence, as this research suggests is possible through shear flows, it brings us a crucial step closer to designing more efficient and stable fusion reactors. It's about taming the wild energy of a star on Earth.
The superalfvenic regime is particularly relevant here, as it describes plasma flows faster than alphane waves, often encountered in both astrophysical phenomena and, critically, in the extreme conditions within fusion devices. This research bridges theoretical physics with engineering challenges.
This isn't just about academic curiosity, it's about unlocking the promise of virtually limitless, clean energy. Fusion, unlike fission, produces no long-lived radioactive waste and uses abundant fuels like isotopes of hydrogen. It's the ultimate energy dream.
So, who benefits from such a breakthrough? Ultimately, humanity. A viable fusion power source would revolutionize our energy landscape, providing clean, abundant electricity without the carbon emissions of fossil fuels or the waste concerns of current nuclear fission.
Directly, it benefits the international fusion research community and massive projects like ITER, International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor. Any advance in understanding plasma stability accelerates their monumental efforts to bring fusion to commercial reality.
But let's be realistic. The nation or consortium that first achieves practical, commercial fusion power will possess an unprecedented geopolitical advantage. This isn't just about clean energy, it's about unparalleled energy independence and global influence.
This foundational research, while publicly available on AR-14, is part of a silent, intense global competition. The control over this ultimate energy source would be the ultimate power structure, redefining global economic and political hierarchies. The stakes could not be higher.
Alex, when we look at these 5 stories together, a profound pattern emerges. We see humanity grappling with energy at every conceivable level, from the geopolitical chessboard to the subatomic realm.
Exactly, Maya. On one hand, we have the immediate, brutal realities of current energy geopolitics, the US and Iran battling over nuclear influence and the flow of oil. This is about control over existing finite resources, and the power derived from that control.
Then we have the quiet, foundational science happening in labs like Brookhaven. Characterizing neutrons, optimizing graphene for corrosion prevention, understanding silicon battery anomalies, these are not headline-grabbing stories, but they are critical for improving and extending our current energy infrastructure and transitioning to renewables.
And finally, the audacious quest for fusion energy. The MHD turbulence research represents the cutting edge of humanity's ambition to create an entirely new, boundless energy source. It's the ultimate gamble for total energy independence, a prize that would fundamentally reshape global power.
The common thread, despite the vast differences in scale and immediacy, is the relentless pursuit of control over energy. Control over its production, its storage, its transport, and its very underlying scientific principles.
And within that pursuit, we see the clear beneficiaries: powerful nations, multinational corporations, and those who hold the intellectual property rights to the next generation of energy technologies. The public often sees the headlines, but rarely the deeper currents of economic and geopolitical leverage.
This isn't just about keeping the lights on. It's about who profits from the power, who maintains geopolitical dominance, and whose scientific advancements will define the next century. The seemingly disparate worlds of diplomacy and theoretical physics are, in fact, 2 sides of the same coin: energy control.
Tonight, we've shown a light on how energy, in all its forms, is the ultimate currency of global power. From the negotiating tables in Geneva to the quiet calculations in a physicist's lab, the struggle for energy control continues, often out of public view.
And as these forces unfold, it's crucial for us to understand who benefits and who pays the price. The advancements that promise a brighter, cleaner future are simultaneously becoming tools in a high-stakes game for dominance.
We must demand transparency and accountability from our leaders and corporations. Are these scientific breakthroughs truly being leveraged for the common good, or are they being hoarded for strategic advantage and corporate profit?
The truth about energy is complex, and the stakes are immense. We'll continue to dig, to question, and to bring you the stories that matter. For Truth Report, I'm Maya Clarity.
And I'm Alex Truth.